But like just about everybody, I've always loved Marcia Hines singing, just such a beautiful voice. But over the years, I've also noticed that she's had some pretty sensible things to say about this country and our culture. So I always thought she'd be great to interview. At 70 years of age, yes, 70, Hines has got an album of gospel songs out at the moment and a stage musical project coming up next. So it was my pleasure to speak with her last week. Marcia Hines has been part of Australian entertainment across 6 decades. By the time this hit You was topping the charts in 1977, Hines had been in Australia for 7 years. And now, 54 years since she arrived on our shores, she's still performing, about to star in a new stage version of the musical Grease, and selling her latest album, The Gospel According to Marcia.
It's good to still be relevant.
Maybe boomers never stop.
Well, you know, we've been given an incredible work ethic, baby boomers. And I'm Jamaican. We work hard. You know, Jamaican people work hard. Also, I have to thank my work ethic from America. I was brought up in America. And if you want something, if you work hard enough, it's yours. Amazing grace.
Is that a hark back to your youth? Did you first start singing in churches and singing hymns and the like?
Most black children in America, we get brought up in church, and that's where you learn grace. That's where you learn to be humble. That's where you learn how important it is to take care of your elders and children. And it's a great society. Church is a great society for young people in America. It was for me, at least, yeah.
Amazing Grace just blows me away. I saw it on the title. I'm expecting what sort of instrumentation will there be? Will there be bagpipes? There are no instruments at all, only your beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
I once was lost, but now I am found.
I think it's really important as a singer to strip things back. You know, instrumentation is beautiful, but to introduce the album, I introduced the album with Amazing Grace, which is a beautiful song.
Marcia left America aged just 16 to play a leading role in the Sydney production of the controversial musical Hair, a world away from her home in Boston. You couldn't have imagined what it would lead to.
Oh, God, no. I came for 6 months. I'm still here. No, I had no idea. It was a job, though, and it was a very good paying job, and my mother instilled all the right things in me as a kid, and she said to me, you know, look, this amazing job's come in Australia. Do you want to do it? You know what's right, you know what's wrong. You don't have to go, just go for 6 months, see how you go.
He's just a man in a head slow man, lean before very man.
After Hair in the early 70s, it was Jesus Christ Superstar, and Marcia was on a path to stardom. There's a song from Superstar on the album, of course. That must be very special to you.
Of course.
I Don't Know How to Love Him.
Well, that was my second really big gig in Australia. The first one was Hair, and then Harry and Miller asked me if I wanted to play Mary, and I had a real quick think, and I went, yes, absolutely. So that show was an amazing thing in the sense that I was the first black Mary Magdalene in the world, and people protested about it being blasphemous and about me being the first black Mary, but it worked. It worked very nicely.
I don't know how to love him, what to do, how to move him.
A lot of people who are very religious didn't like that. I think the name Jesus Christ Superstar offended many, but if you saw the story, it was just a story of the Bible.
Are you religious?
Yes, I am. I'm God-fearing. So, but if you said to me, Chris, that, well, you know, I pray to that tree, I'd say, knock yourself out, whatever floats your boat, you know? So I just respect any religion, because if that's what makes you a better person or gets you through whatever, yeah.
You worked with a lot of people who then wouldn't have been household names. They certainly became stars in Australia. Yeah, a whole raft of them.
Yeah.
How special are those people to you?
Now? We take care of each other. We keep an eye and make sure that everybody's okay, because it wasn't the caste, Chris. We were called the tribe. And that was the name of the caste in here. And we still keep an eye and take care of each other, and hopefully nobody wants. Yeah.
Now, Marcia Hines is here, and she's got a question for me.
What about John Farnham? How close were you with him, and do you have a message for him at this time?
Oh my goodness. Go with God. Take care of yourself, man. I know Jill will, his wife. I know the boys will, you know, and John was one of the most talented people. I work with John on my television show, Marcia's Music at the ABC. And so I know how talented he is, and he's always been very kind to me. So I think all of Australia is quite taken aback at how ill he has been. And I know what a private guy he is, so I just send him my love, yeah.
You love Australia, don't you?
Yes, it's my home. I chose well. That's what I'm going to say. I chose well. I am a Bostonian, so it was quite easy to live in Australia, because Boston or New England's very English. And so when I came here, it wasn't that much of a transition. I had hoped I'd speak another language, though, but you know.
Speak a bit of Strine.
Australian, yeah. I feel very sad because the America I grew up in no longer exists.
It's very divided, isn't it?
Oh my God,
We're
yeah.
going through a time of division in Australia too.
Yeah.
Do you think Australia handles it better than the US?
Yeah, I don't think Australia has the prejudices that America has.
Have you confronted racism in Australia?
I have to say no, you know, but I'm not looked for it, you know. People should get around the table and have a good old talk, black and white, good old talk.
Tell me about what part of you is different from becoming Australian, right? What did the 16-year-old from Boston evolve into that's more Australian than American?
What I learned when I first came to Australia, if Australians insult you, they really like you, right? So, you know.
A bit of good-natured ribbing.
I love it. And it's just that twisted sense of humor, that because American humor is a totally different thing, you know, whereas English humor cracks me up, Australian humor cracks me up, and it's irreverent, and I am relatively irreverent.
Everything about Marcia Hines belies her age, her appearance, her energy, and her work schedule. And it's not all music. She's engaged and passionate about the world around her. And unlike many artists, she's not afraid to share some unashamedly conservative angles.
Come to Australia and be Australian.
You think too many people don't want to become Australian?
Well, I don't know that they don't want to, but I don't think that they're encouraged to. I think you should be encouraged just to, when in Rome, okay?
Yeah, it's a two-way process, right?
Absolutely.
Don't ask immigrants to become Australian. Embrace them and take them with you.
And don't get rid of your culture. Who you are, don't get rid of that.
There's very much the John Howard view of
I love Mr.
multiculturalism.
Howard. He's a good guy. He's a pretty good dude.
So you agree with him on that?
I do.
Approach?
Well, why would I disagree? You know, I mean, like.
Because when Howard says it, the left often gets all upset and critical of him.
No matter what you say,
you have the same view.
Yeah, sure. Because I just think it's so important to remember who you are, where you came from, but move on. Don't dwell. Move on.
It's great advice. I think the country could do with it now, especially with the anti-Semitism we're seeing around the place.
Yes, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Does it upset you?
What upsets me is man's inhumanity to man. It never ceases to amaze me. That's what upsets me. We should have learned by now.
Amen to that. But it's singing that brought Marcia Hines to Australia, made her an Australian, and endeared her to Australians. And the advice she gives to aspiring stars is that it's the music that matters. Stardom, well, that's really up to the stars.
If you come to me and you say you just want to sing for a living, I'll listen. If you come to me and say you want to be a star, I wouldn't know how to do that. I have no idea how that works. Maybe it's a work thing. I have no idea. But if you sing and you love it because it's the one thing that makes sense in your life, knock yourself out. Yeah.